In this video, I'm going to be giving you guys my full honest review of the FNAF movie. Just know the video is going to contain spoilers, so if you guys have not seen the movie, I encourage you guys to go watch it and afterwards come back and watch this video. But for those who already seen it, sit back, relax, let's go ahead and get right into this review. So the first thing I figured what I would talk about is the critic and audience scoring. When I last checked this, the critic scoring was around 25% and the audience scoring was around 88%. And at first this threw off a lot of people, but let me make something clear. During the production and marketing of this movie, both Scott and Jason had specifically said multiple times that this movie was designed for the fans. For those who don't know or understand what FNAF is, along with its history, lore, character motives, complexity, and much more, you can be very lost, confused, and questioning. But those who are familiar with Finance and Phrase and everything that follows with it, you understood everything perfectly. And if I'm being honest with you guys, I was suspecting something like this to happen. Especially when I saw that critic score in around 25%, that just threw me off completely. To me, that was a little bizarre. It should have gotten 25%, but at the same time, though, I do understand. So even though the movie did have a few flaws, I overall still loved it and enjoyed every single minute of it. And speaking of the movie, let's move on to its story. The story of this movie was just overall great. I really just enjoyed, like, how it started from the beginning, middle, and ending, the characters' motives, the pacing of it. The acting was on point, the atmosphere was just, dark, ominous, and nerve-wracking, but overall just incredible to be a part of. Not to mention, the kills that they pulled off in this movie, despite it being a PG-13 rating, was dark, but also amazing. Especially Max's death. Like, when I saw that happen on screen, my mouth just absolutely dropped. And when I was just, seeing all that happen, I heard someone in the room yell, "Was that the bite of 87?" Like, when I heard that, I just couldn't help but laugh. And the deaths that they pulled off within this movie was just very gruesome, but overall very cool. Also, some people found the fort scene to be very random. However, I actually felt like it was just nice to have that scene from the movie. It was very wholesome to see them all come together, and especially when Bonnie just like, yay, just falls down, and then they're asked when he's okay, and he gets the thumbs up. I just couldn't help but smile. Plus, the amount of Easter eggs and references that were just in this movie, which is so appreciated. So thank you, Scott and Jason, for putting in so many of these Easter eggs and references. And speaking of which, let's move on to those. So I figured the first Easter egg we're gonna cover is Sparky's Diner. If you guys don't know, the name Sparky originates from the name Sparky the dog, which was an animatronic who was found in FNAF 1. And now within Sparky's Diner, we actually get the MatPat cameo. He's a server who works at Sparky's Diner and actually tells Mike's aunt saying, hey, did you guys know that lunch is the most important meal of the day? But hey, that's just a theory. A game theory! No, I'm just kidding. He actually didn't say that part though. But hey, I think we would have loved it if he did say that though. But that's just not enough to let you know they're saying, hey, that's MatPat, and that, that reference is from his both game theory and film theory channels. Overall, MatPat's cameo is very well deserved, and that he, along with many other influencers, helped Finance Phrase become big as it is today. And speaking of Sparky, there is actually a real Sparky the dog animatronic within this movie, and that he can actually be found within the back of Parks and Services along with the other victims who unfortunately weren't able to make it out of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. All in all, seeing Sparky the dog within the FNAF movie was just really cool. The next Easter egg I want to talk to you guys about is Balloon Boy. Balloon Boy actually showed up a few times within this movie, both in Scary Mite and within Corey's cameo, which, by the way, Corey's Kenshin just did an absolute amazing job of his cameo being a attached driver, and at the end of the movie when he does get jump scared by Balloon Boy, overall it was just well deserved for Corey. And the fact that Balloon Boy kept showing up multiple times with those jump scares, just the way he did jump scare with just that creepy looking face, I feel like that was something that Scott definitely set up himself. And I will admit, some of the Balloon Boy jump scares, they did get me a couple times, but afterwards I just got used to them, and then, just seeing how they kept jump scaring everyone else in the movie was just absolutely hilarious. And the fact that we kept seeing Balloon Boy multiple times indicates that within this next FNAF movie, we're going to see the toy animatronics. Next Easter egg and reference I want to talk to you guys about is the Dream Theory book. Basically, the Dream Theory is pretty much, what Mike was experiencing going through the movie, right? Experiencing the same dream over and over again when his brother gets taken away, and afterwards, when the 5 missing children didn't show up, he didn't try to, change that, scenario as to what happened, just where he could still have his whole family stuff, but, that isn't the case. He can't change what happened in the past, but later he has to, protect Abby and just move forward into the future. And the next thing I want to talk to you about is the Ella Circus Baby Spring Lock animatronic thing. Like, just seeing that animatronic in this movie, which is very questionable. Like, was that just the movie's version of Circus Baby, or is that with Ella? I don't really know. Let me know your guys' thoughts within the comments. And I feel like the definitely next thing we need to talk about for sure is Vanessa. I really wish there was so much more we could have learned about Vanessa's backstory, but I really feel like they're saving that backstory for the next FNAF movie. But hey, one thing we did learn within this movie is that Vanessa is the daughter of William Afton. Huge plot twist, and just my mind was just absolutely blown that happened. Like, when I heard that in the movie theaters and I just heard everyone else gasping and just going like, what? Oh my god, what? Oh no, that was just really cool to hear and see. Another thing I noticed as well is that every time I kept going back and watching this movie, I noticed that this movie was heavily inspired by the Silver Eyes trilogy books. And from the Silver Eyes trilogy book, there's actually a scene that shows a torn piece of paper, which is actually a picture that you would see within the movie. And then this picture shows all the kids holding hands with Spring Bonnie, and that the torn picture represents the kids' memories being broken, and that these kids have no memory as to what Spring Bonnie did to them, and that these kids are under the influence of William Afton, both within the books and the movie. And these kids need help in remembering exactly what happened to them. In this case, in the movie, that's where Abby comes in. Abby draws a a picture and shows the animatronics truth as to what Springbond did to them, and from that they all turn against William, which then leads us to the spring lock scene. This scene was very epic. You could tell the way everything was playing out was just straight up from FNAF 3. And it all played out so well, especially when William was getting surrounded by the animatronics, then he gets spring locked, and then from there he says the iconic line, "I always come back." And you can see him getting dragged away and then seal off into the background. You can see the Golden Freddy ghost child just, just creepily just standing there, just watching Williams, twitch and being spring locked. All in all, it was just absolutely incredible to see all this play out on screen. Another thing I want to talk guys about as well is the opening credit scene with the 8-bit style and everything as well. I'm assuming that's something that Scott did make, and if he did, man, hats off to Scott. Like, that's just a huge major improvement compared to what we've seen back in the previous FNAF minigames. And the music within this movie was on point, especially at the very ending credit scene when they did play the Living Tombstone song, Five Nights at Freddy's. There was a whole bunch of group of people that were like, singing, hyping up. I was like, you know what, you can't beat him, join him, and then we were just all having a great time. When that closing scene didn't play out and we had the words "come find me" pull up on screen, come find me, guys, William Afton, he always comes back. He's coming back, baby. Y'all guys better get ready. Overall, I love this movie, and it was just absolutely fantastic. And yes, even though this movie did have some flaws and wasn't perfect, I'm still gonna give it a 10 out of 10 because again, the movie was just absolutely just incredible to see on screens, and the fact that finally after 8 years, we're just being able to see it and all that stuff, and the Easter eggs and references, and seeing how it brought so many people together. That's why I want to give it that rating. I also want to say congratulations to Scott, Jason, and all Blumhouse for all their hard work they put into this movie. Like, y'all guys just absolutely killed it, and I seriously can't thank y'all guys enough. I cannot wait for the next FNAF movie to come out, y'all. I can see the next FNAF movie being a prequel, and then the following FNAF movie after that could take us further into the future. But time will tell. Let me know your guys' thoughts about the movie within the comments. Thank y'all so much for watching today's video, and as always, everyone, stay safe, stay positive, be there for another. Remember, guys, the grind never stops, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take it easy, y'all.